Hey everyone, it's Dan Bader here, and a common complaint that I see from new Python developers or those Python developers who want to take their skills to the next level boils down to saying, my Python code looks ugly and is confusing. How can I fix it? And there is a couple of ways you can move past that barrier and get better at coding Python. And I want to show you one that I've seen work very effectively over and over again. And it is using a Python code linter. And there's exactly one that I would recommend very much called Pyflakes, because it's a combination of a static analysis tool that is going to call you out on some just plain bugs in your Python code, and also a Python code style checker, which is going to call you out on formatting inconsistencies and just things that are ugly or confusing about your code. So I've got a little example here, and we can look at this and say, okay, it looks kind of decent. Like, let's run it. Creates two random numbers, multiplies them, seems to work. Awesome, let's ship it. But when we actually try and read this file, look at this, it just looks hilariously ugly. It is really inconsistent. Like, we're, doing these things where we're importing more than one module per line. Then the formatting is not consistent. We're using different indentation levels. We're actually creating this variable here that we're not using. There's all these random spaces that shouldn't be here. It just kind of seems just really ugly and not very organized. Now, the good news is that there's actually a tool that can help you with these problems, and it's called Pyflakes. So let's go ahead and install it right now using pip. We're just going to go pip install Pyflakes, run this, and once it's done, we have a new command available called Pyflakes, and we're just going to run this on our example Python file. And just like that, it's detecting a whole bunch, like a whole list of things that are just weird or odd or plain wrong about our code. And if you've got your terminal set up correctly, and I've got another video that shows you how to do that, you can actually click these recommendations and jump directly to that line in your editor. So here in the first line, Pyflakes is complaining that we're importing sys, but we're not using it. So we want to get rid of sys here, right? And then it also complains about the fact in the same line that we're using multiple imports on one line. So again, this should be split up. And it's finding all these other problems, like we're not spacing our functions apart, we're using inconsistent indentation, and all of these things. Now, this is pretty usable by itself, right? You might as well run this tool, like go and run this tool right now in any Python program you've ever written, and you're going to learn tons, and I promise it's going to make you a better Python programmer. Now, the other thing you can do is actually integrate Pyflakes directly with your editor. I really like Sublime Text, so I've got this set up here where every time I save a file, it runs Pyflakes and it gives me feedback on my code. And I think this is really the secret to moving past that stage where you're writing inconsistent code that is not formatted correctly, and you catch yourself making all of these tiny little bugs in your day-to-day work, right? This can really help you with that because it makes it extremely easy to avoid these mistakes, right? We can just get rid of these unused imports. And then here we want 2 spaces according to pep8. Here, for example, we can see that the indentation isn't right. Now, if I run Pyflakes again, I'll actually see that we're creating this variable, this local variable that we're not using. So let's get rid of it. Let's add some more spaces here. All right, we've got some inconsistent formatting here as well. So let's fix that. Again, same thing here. And that's probably complaining because we have too many extra spaces in here. And all of a sudden, this whole thing just became a lot easier to read. And it still works. So if you're interested in getting your Sublime Text set up in a way where it gives you that feedback on your code, I wrote a step-by-step guidebook that you can find at sublimetextpython.com. But that shameless plug aside, I think for every Python programmer watching this right now, go and install Flake 8. This is the tool that I would recommend. There's a couple more like PyLinter, but Flake 8 will get you started. It is very easy to use. It is low on false positives, so it will most of the time only call out things that are actually just plain wrong or ugly in the Python coded checks. So I've personally seen great results from using Flake 8 and just getting that constant automatic feedback. I've seen great results in coworkers and pretty much anyone I ever talked to and recommended this tool to. So go and check it out. I absolutely love Flake 8, and I think it's going to make you a better Python programmer in the shortest amount of time possible. All right, thanks for listening, and good luck with setting everything up.